Welcome, motherfuckers, to the Matt Signal Podcast.
Hello, friends. You are my friends. Welcome to the podcast that won't take its pants off until you've come at least 3 times. This is the Matt Signal. I'm your host, Matt Jablonski. I am still nursing a little bit of a hangover from a couple days ago. Haven't had a bad headache or nothing. Just tired. Feeling shitty. I don't drink all that often. I keep a little bit of whiskey around. I do enjoy whiskey. Mostly only use it for when I'm going to bed at night. Helps me kind of drift off into La La Land. You get that little smell of the smell of Crown Royal blowing back in your sleep apnea mask. It's a real romantic thought for you ladies out there. Yeah, me and my Darth Vader mask. So the podcast the other night, or should I say the Toddcast, I definitely got to go through that thing. That was a train wreck. It was fun, though. I haven't hung out with my buddy in a while, so it was good to see him. And hopefully next time we won't decide to go all douchey and drink Jägermeister. Maybe we'll be a little classier about it. So on deck, I have recorded a conversation with my grandma, which I'll give a forewarning to anyone who might listen to that when I do get it edited and out. I did not know that my grandmother has like 400 parakeets in her office. So I went in there and I thought that maybe we could record it in the kitchen at her kitchen table. But I realized I didn't bring any extension cords or surge protectors, so I didn't have enough outlets to hook up my equipment, and that forced us to go into our office where the parakeets very much wanted to be a part of the podcast. So I'm going to release it. Fair warning, when you see the one that pops up about a conversation with grandma or something along those lines, I would be shocked if any of you make it through it. It was a fun conversation. That's not the issue. It's just the noise. But we did talk about it, and we're going to probably try to do another one sometime soon. So hopefully I'll try to manage the environment a little better that time. As with, when I sat down with Todd, I ran into realizing that I have to run all of the equipment, and that's a little tricky to do while talking, while you're drunk. So I'm probably going to touch on a little bit of what we talked about the other day because it was fun topics. But one of the more exciting things in the news, for those of us who are inclined to be nerdy, I guess is a way to say it. So Disney and Fox have come to terms on a deal that will allow Disney to purchase Fox's movie and television rights. And for nerds, that means that Disney is going to be getting back some very essential properties for the Marvel Universe, namely the X-Men, the Fantastic Four, and everyone's favorite Merc with a Mouth, Deadpool, and then all of their rogues. So for people who are wondering what's going to happen after Thanos, well, Galactus is a possibility. We might see the Silver Surfer pop up at some point. He might actually get to be a Herald of Galactus. We might actually see some sweet shit go down. We might actually see a good take on the Fantastic Four. I honestly didn't hate the last one, but I don't go deep on that shit anyway, so it's real simple to me with superhero movies. As long as I can't see through all the effects, if it's a new one, I'll give the old one some leeway on that. As long as I can't see through all the effects and there's really exciting explosions and people punching each other in the face, I'm usually pretty satisfied. A lot of people like to get a lot more critical about it. One thing I try to remember is that in a comic book, you have as many issues as you need to tell a story. In a movie, you have 90 to 120 minutes, and sometimes you can go Some movies will even go up to 3 hours, but really, you want to maintain the attention span of the audience. So, movies are never going to go in depth as any kind of literature does. That's just how it is, man. You kind of got to accept it. The other thing is a lot of people like to, this isn't right. This isn't how it's supposed to be. Well, it's supposed to be according to who? According to you? You're not the one writing the movie, dude. They're not going to write it out of your brain. They don't have that ability. If you want to write the movie, there's a course of action you can take. You need to go to college to be a writer. You need to get on as an intern somewhere. You need to prove yourself to that company, get moved up, and then move out, or you can just go shop your fucking scripts from what I hear, like if you can find someone that can get you in the door. So, really, dude, I guess if you're not happy with the writing, start writing. I don't know what to tell you, because why do you want to sit and complain about it? To be critical is one thing, and to discuss, I did like this, I didn't like that, but there's so many people that just seem like they think they own it. Like they own the rights and that someone's fucking them over, and that's not the case. And the other thing that's not the case is that nothing is ruining anything from the past. All that stuff from the past still exists. You can still go back and look at it. You can still go back and read it. You can still go back and hear it. So Metallica's new album didn't ruin Metallica's first album. That's not how that works. You're just being unreasonable. You're expecting the world to conform to your demands, and that's just not what happens. So, you can keep doing it. I don't care what you do, but, I'm just telling you that you're kind of wasting your breath. And there's a lot of things in this world to be happy about. Like, for one, the fact that we're getting, 3 to 5 comic book movies a year. 3 to 5 big budget, major motion picture, great theatrical presentations, eyegasms with amazing fucking special effects that are state of the art and constantly getting better. Man, what entitled people some folks are, because it's never, it's literally the best it's ever been, and it's still not good enough. So there's nothing that's ever going to make you happy. And what that is, that's a hole inside you that you need to figure out how to fill on your own. That has nothing to do with movies. It has nothing to do with comics. It has nothing to do with entertainment of any sort. This is just one guy talking to another guy who suffers from a similar problem. You need to recognize that need to constantly degrade everything you see, everybody you interact with. That's not you being real, brah. That's you with some fucked up shit going on that you need to sort out. Don't get me wrong, there are definitely injustices in the world. I've seen one with my own eyes recently that just churns my stomach, but you've got to realize, you need to pick your battles, and if the battles you're picking are arguments about how much everything that ever gets released sucks on the internet, maybe try investing in Bitcoin, because you might make some money there. I don't know what you're doing with your life. I'm not even doing that great, and I don't know what you're doing with your life. So, I don't know. I guess I shouldn't just be Grandpappy Jablonski here, but I love these movies. I love the era we live in. I think that if you sit back and take it in for what it is, it's entertainment. It's a break from the day-to-day grind that we all have to get into. It's a break from the monotony and the heartbreaks, the trials, the tribulations, the lost family members and friends, every shitty thing that happens in the world, that real shitty thing that happens in the world. These movies are supposed to be a break from that. And, to go into these things and then use that as another outlet for your negativity, I just don't get it. I have seen some people who are able to be critical and at the same time not an asshole, and I have a lot of respect for those people. I will gladly listen to what they have to say, because if you want to talk to me about developing characters and story arcs and, what logically could have been done a little better, that can be an interesting conversation sometimes. A couple nerds will go deep on that stuff, and it's no big deal. I'll gladly hear that. But, ultimately, probably at almost any of these movies, I'm going to end up on the positive side of the fence. And at the end of the day, I'm going to say, well, did Hulk punch somebody in the face? Did cool aliens show up and shit get blown up with laser cannons and arrows, like, turn people into ice sickles and then they fall and shatter and fucking like magic and whatever, dude. Just like, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for an escape. I want to get out of my head. I want to get out of my life. I want to enjoy something new and something different, something fun. And then I add to it the fact that I get to enjoy a lot of this stuff with my nephew, who over the last, I've been around since he was 1. So he latches on to a lot of the things that I like, which is really cool because it's fun. It makes it easy to sit and chill with him. Gives us a lot of common ground to work from. He can ask me questions running deep on these characters because I've been into them for, 10, 20 years or whatever. And I just see it for all the positive that it is. And yeah, it could probably be written better. Everything could probably be written better. Just like every game could be taken to the next level. Every bet could have higher stakes. But I also don't forget to appreciate what it is I've got. And that brings me to what I'm seeing on the Star Wars front right now. So, full disclaimer, I haven't seen the movie yet. It's opening weekend. I tend to avoid the theater on opening weekend for any blockbuster. It's annoying. I'm a very large man. I need a certain amount of space. It's nice to go when there's when you can figure there's going to be a couple empty seats around and you can kind of stretch out and do your thing. So, I don't know. I might be going to see it tonight, but everything I see in the headlines so far is that the crowd is completely divided, and it's basically 50% love it and 50% hate it. And when I have interacted with the Star Wars fans over the years, that 50% that hate it, man, they are fucking hard to deal with sometimes. Like, I don't know what you expect. If you look at the quality of the filmmaking, like, the story is fun. We're going to go back to the originals. The story's fun, but it doesn't, it's not a super, in-depth thing. It's just a basic, like, War of the Worlds, and you get these cool characters and a neat little backstory about Luke and his father and all that. And there's a lot of cool shit going on, but when you look at it, it really looks kind of corny. Like, and granted, I know they were made in the 70s, so, but then to look at, like, what they did visually between the first trilogy and the second trilogy, and I'm in the rare camp of people who actually does enjoy the second trilogy a lot. I would say that's actually what probably brought me back around to watch the first trilogy again. All I remembered up until about, a couple years ago was that the first time I watched Star Wars, I was bored to death. So I never really gave it another chance until all my buddies wanted to go see, I think it was episode 3 in the theaters. I wasn't really into it, but I wanted to hang out with my friends, and we were in high school or whatever, so we went to see it, and it blew my mind. It was an awesome movie, and episode 3 is basically the origin story of all 3 episodes are basically the origin story of Darth Vader. But it's kind of like when the Joker fell in the vat of acid or whatever. It's sort of like this is when Darth Vader was created. So you get to kind of see that nexus point, which I thought was fun. And then the thing that everybody really hates on, and And I'm not even going to lie about it. I love Jar Jar Binks, and you can go fuck yourself if you don't like it. Misa made this movie's awesome. Ha ha. So, now that I've cleared out most of the people listening to me with that, Jar Jar for the win, man. But I don't understand what it is people think they're gonna get out of these movies. They're not gonna jump out of the screen and blow you. They can only go so far. They only have so much time, and then, I mean, face it, we're at a point now where it's owned by Disney, so it's kind of writing by committee to an extent. You know, it's not going to be perfect, man. You just got to take it for what it is. And if you don't, well, I mean, hell, it's a free country. Do you, boo. But I don't know. That's anyway, overall, as far as the movies go, I'm really excited about the idea of Disney and Fox merging together, and those characters being available for the MCU. A lot of people have brought up the question about brutality for Deadpool. You know, would they give it a hard R? And I would direct you to look at the Netflix shows, which have been quite brutal, and those are produced under Disney's umbrella. So I think we'll be safe. I think that if Deadpool pops up in anybody else's movie, he will be a PG-13 version, and that just is the price we have to pay in order to have those characters together. Now, I also think that the possibility exists to bring other characters into Deadpool's rated R world, so where they can cut loose a little more, where he can kind of, I don't know, and when he can make someone kind of go a little crazy and say some things they wouldn't normally say or whatever. You know, you could explain it away. And make it entertaining. So I don't think we've got anything to worry about as far as losing, Deadpool's edge. I think Disney likes making money. I think if you look at what Fox did with the Deadpool money, or the Deadpool movie rather, I mean, it was a low budget. It made a ton of money. You know they're going to give it a bigger budget next time, but I think they should be careful on that and maybe stick. They're obviously not going to get everybody for the same price that they got them on the first one. But I think that if they do it right and they keep the budget reasonable on this, I think they should definitely try to keep it humble. Like, if you want to, unlike Deadpool 3, if you want to really go nuts, that's the time to do it. So people have also asked about the possibility of any of those newly acquired heroes showing up in the MCU during like the Infinity Gauntlet movie, and I will say I doubt it. I highly doubt it. And the reason I doubt it is because they said it was going to be up to an 18-month process in order for regulatory to go through, which means for the government to investigate everything and make sure everything's okay. And there are also apparently senators who are calling for an investigation into the merger, thinking that maybe it's going to be a monopoly on the entertainment industry. I'm not sure that that is true. There's still definitely multiple major companies out there. There's also smaller companies that are competitive online. So I don't think this creates a monopoly in the as far as production companies goes or anything like that. I think this is just some. If I had to guess, what I'm guessing is that there's a liberal who realizes that Trump's friends with someone at Fox and that this deal went through relatively quietly, and they want to raise some hell because they don't like the people involved, namely Donald Trump and Rupert Murdoch. Here's the bottom line to you, you son of a bitch. Us fans of the Marvel Cinematic Universe have wanted our characters to come home to that universe for quite some time now. We finally get to have that. There's not a monopoly being created in the marketplace. The technology for producing quality entertainment is more readily available than it's ever been. We have the ability to upload our creations. I mean, we can get a $1,500 laptop that we're going to be able to basically edit a movie on. It's not going to be quite up to par, but it'll be pretty goddamn close. So the barrier to entry in the entertainment industry, like look at what I'm doing right now, is lower than it's ever been. We are at a point in time where everyone has kind of been raised thinking they're going to be, someone that, some kind of celebrity or some kind of something. And, so you get people like me that will set up recording studios in their basement, and that, every day I'm thinking of another thing to add to this rig, and I'm thinking of how can I fucking improve on this shit, and what can I do to grow it, and, because it's my new fucking art project. And the only reason I get to do it is because the barrier to entry in the entertainment business is lower than it has ever been. There is real competition in the marketplace. There's no reason to investigate this. So stop fucking with it, man. This is like, more importantly, and I'm not going to get back into the full net neutrality rant, but why is it cable companies are allowed to fucking limit us and do all this bullshit? You don't investigate them. You don't investigate their monopoly on the fucking industry. It's clearly a matter of who slipped a hundo into whose pocket. Anyway, I'm not going to sit here and keep getting pissed off about that. What else has been interesting that I've been thinking about? The MCU. I guess I've seen several times these diatribes from women's websites or Facebook groups, or they're not specifically women, but they seem to aim or skew mostly towards women. Rebel Circus is one of them. It's they have all kinds of funny smart ass memes they post and stuff, but it mostly tends towards like female empowerment kind of stuff. At least that's what it seems like to me. So anyway, the point is that I see a lot of people get into these arguments about the friend zone and what the friend zone is, and that the friend zone doesn't exist, and you're a piece of shit if you think the friend zone exists, and blah, 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 blah. And so I wanted to try to take a few minutes and explain to whoever wants to listen. Maybe some of you can relate to this. Maybe some of you have been more fortunate and haven't had to deal with this. And maybe some of you are women who've had to deal with this. But I want to try to help you understand what's going on the more testosterone-driven side of the fence. So what happens a lot of times is a guy who, we can use myself as an example here, who doesn't necessarily get a ton of positive energy from women in his life. I mean, I have a great mom, I have a great grandma, but I'm saying women, my peers. Through a combination of genetics, my upbringing, and whatever, has manifested itself to lead me to where I am today, I'm a big guy. And I have actually learned in time that I'm probably more self-conscious of that than anybody, although I do know there are some fat-hating bastards out there, which is whatever. It takes different strokes. But anyway, so you get a guy who doesn't really get a lot of attention from the ladies of his peer group. We all want that attention, trust me, all of us. Some of us are more fortunate than others. Some of us maybe have a better personality. We didn't have trauma happen. We're a little less awkward. Or maybe whatever they did have happen maybe pushed them in the other direction, so they were more outgoing. And they, some guys just got a great genetic roll of the dice, so they're just naturally attractive dudes. Whatever the fuck. There's all kinds of different things that happen. But some of us get left out of the whole thing. And it really kind of blows. So, like, if you can't really, if you were always up in it, if you were always, dating and hooking up and blah, 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 you really don't know what it's like to sit on the outside of that. And, like, not be able to have that. Like, everyone longs for some kind of companionship, fat or not, nerdy or not, awkward or not. And what'll happen is eventually some girl will come along and just all of a sudden it seems like she loves everything you do. And then, maybe you're friends for a while and she'll date a couple guys or whatever and they treat her like shit. And all the while you're kind of realizing that you really dig this person. Their personality's cool. They seem to be all about you for the most part, but you're a little awkward. You don't know how to approach it. And, in some of our cases, Dad wasn't around to tell us that, you just got to fucking ask a girl out or ask a girl to hang out or ask for sex. Like, they don't teach you how to do that thing because they're not fucking there. These are things we got to deal with. Like, we still want to be happy and we still want to be involved and nobody's fucking helping us. They treat us like shit because we're slightly awkward. And it's like... So then that girl comes along and she puts all this attention in you and blah, blah, blah. And here's the thing that starts to happen. She says shit like, I want a guy like you. Don't fucking say that. Don't ever fucking say that shit. If you don't want there to be problems, don't fucking say that. I understand that once a guy tries to ask you out and you say no, he should probably not hammer you about it every fucking, 2 days. Like, you don't want to be asked a million times by the same guy. I get that. Don't tell him you want a guy like him. That is the most confusing fucking thing you can ever say to a guy. Because I am a guy like me. There is no other guy like me. I am the guy like me. So don't say that. The other thing is if you're an attractive girl and you go and you befriend someone who you perceive to be awkward and not have a lot of girls around them, or after you get to know them a little bit, you realize, hey, this guy doesn't have any female attention around him at all, and he's kind of ugly or kind of awkward or kind of whatever, I'm just going to tell you, whether you want to hear it or not, that guy is eventually going to tell you he has feelings for you 100% of the time. And if he's not going to tell you, he does have feelings for you. Some guys just will never say it. And the key to this, guys, is you should say it because you should get turned down. Or, hey, in the rare case, she actually does want a guy like you. And she's not just saying a thing that like, hey, a part of what you are is kind of cool. And I'd like to have someone that has that little bitty quality that you have. Dude, get away. Like, I'm sorry. I know it sucks. You cannot be a good friend to someone who turns you on when they're around you. You will always be thinking with at least half with your dick. So you have to get away from that person. So here's the thing. If you realize you're attracted to someone, no matter, like, hopefully the sooner the better, you need to address that right away. You need to nip that shit in the bud. If she's with somebody, you need to say something along the lines of, if be careful how you say it. You don't want to be disrespectful, but something to let them know you're interested, but you're not going to disrespect them. Like, so if ever this doesn't work out, I'd like to hang out with you. Something sort of like that. But you need to indicate that you have a romantic interest in this person because they need to know that. They're going to think of you as just a friend. And not everyone, but a lot of people, they don't want to date their friends. And there could be any number of reasons for that, but usually it seems to boil down to the fact that they don't want to lose that friend. That friend is already lost. If that friend falls in love with you and you don't reciprocate anything, that friendship is going to go down in a blaze of smoke. A blaze of smoke. Whatever. It's going to go down like the Titanic. Anyway, so here's the thing. Ladies, be careful when you're befriending a kind of awkward, shy dude that doesn't get a lot of female attention. Make it crystal clear that you're not interested. And here's another thing. While it may be uncomfortable, you guys ask this question a lot, or at least I've seen a lot of people ask. Would it be better if I just said that you were fat, or would it be better if I just said that you were ugly? Well, as hard as that seems to do, and as much as it probably makes you feel like a bad person for doing it, yes, it would be better. It would be better. For one, it would make it clear you're completely not attracted. I just can't express how, like, You need to draw that line. It needs to be very clear. And then you cannot do anything to cross it. You can't flirt with this guy. Every time you do, he's going to think you're changing your mind. So unless you're changing your mind, which does occasionally happen, don't flirt with this guy ever. Just don't. I know it sucks that you got to moderate your personality, but here's the thing. You ask us to do it all the time. HR exists at work. A big part of what they do is monitor supposed sexual harassment claims and shit. We're supposed to watch how we joke around and how we talk. Why is it any different for you? We're just as lost and confused in this fucking life as you are. We're not any fucking better. We're just different. And we need to be a little more clear with each other. I've had to learn this. I actually have a couple friends who have remained very close friends, but I've had to go through this phase with. I have other people that are completely gone from my life now because I didn't address it soon enough, and it turned into a messy situation. And then I have other people who I wish I could have been friends with, but I already knew I was attracted to them, so I decided not to get close because it's just a potential for a messy situation. I know where I'm at with my feelings, and I know that I don't always have the ability to stop myself from falling for somebody, even if I'm not dating them. So I just don't go there. And it sucks because I'm probably missing out on some pretty cool fucking friends, but at the end of the day, it's a healthier choice because I'm not fucking their life up. I'm not fucking my life up. I'm not making anybody freak out. I'm not, nothing's happening. Nobody thinks I'm stalking them. It's all gravy, man. So try to take care of each other a little bit. Look out for each other. Guys, hey, it sucks when you don't know how to do it, but here's the thing. Just tell someone you think they're pretty and you'd like to take them out sometime and see what they say. That's really all there is to it, man. If they're not down, they're not down. You got to move on. And if you can't be friends without losing control of your feelings, walk away. It'll be better for both of you. It sucks, but it'll be better for both of you. So I'm going to work on getting those podcasts edited, hopefully out in the next week or so. In the meantime and in between time, as the mood strikes me, I'll go ahead and record another one. I would like to thank the Tempting Floodle crew for giving me a reply shout-out to the shout-out I gave them earlier. So here's a shout-out to your shout-out to my shout-out. I love you guys. I hope to have you on soon. Thanks anybody who gives me a listen. I'm a little tired and woozy this week, so I hope I wasn't too busy or hope I wasn't too boring. And I guess I love you. Go fuck yourselves. Bye.